Hello all. Oh, don't need my headphones. Hold on. There we go. How's everybody doing? All right. Let's see. I'm going to try and add the chat box on here today, but I don't know if it's going to work. Let's just see. Let's just catch up first. Andrea here is here very early. Brigham is going to be busy, so probably won't comment. That's okay. No problem. Kerry is Kansas. Hello. Divs, Zanka's here. Richard. Hello. Thanks for joining. So Kerry's asked, I feel I've been neglecting my practice, been so busy with the project Agoras and I are working on, but maybe this is part of my practice. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you also remember that your practice evolves and changes and shifts, and it kind of reflects what's happening in your life at the time as well. So, don't worry about if you're still active in magic, that's still a practice. All right. Let's see if I can get this chat box on. I don't know if it'll work. I don't even know it's supposed to connect. Browser settings. No. I don't know. I'll have to go and check that another time somewhere else. That's just a bit of a pity. I was going to show the chat as oh, there it is. It works. Okay. Oh, it's got no background though. Good morning. Hello, Ivan. How you doing? Let's see if we can make this look a bit better though. Let's put it in. Oops, no, that's gone. Let's put it in a box. Boxed. That might look better. Okay. Right, let's see what happens with that. Okay, what's everybody been up to? Doing well, I hope you're as well. I am. I'm very good, thank you. It's been a interesting week, but it's had some interesting developments. Oops. That's my hot chocolate all over the place. Oh, it disappears. Okay, that's cool. All right. I'm liking the chat thing. All right. No, yes. All right, I'm back. Here we go. Okay. How are you doing, by the way? We're busy as always. Nothing new, which is good, I guess. Yeah, I think normal and boring is probably the best way to go at the moment. Let's see. What's going on this coming month, October? No, I don't want that there. Over there. There we go. On the channel, Ivan, I'm currently reading Local Magic by Bill Divendag. Okay, good stuff. All right, so we've got lined up for this month Hex the System, which is a black magic video tomorrow. Then it's the guided meditation. And then I'm doing the movie reviews, which this month is actually going to be a bit lighter. I'm doing a comedy, which is The Parenting. It's actually brilliant. And oh my goodness, it's completely gone. Practical Magic. There we go. And then I'm doing a Wednesday thing about magic and sexuality. The Toltec concepts this month is about stopping the world. And then DIY occultism is the next magic. And then the book review is The Way of Fire and Ice by Ryan Smith. And then I'm talking about the nature of deity. Okay, simple, easy month, really. Ivan said it's really good. Okay, I'm not. Yeah, you see, Bill Duvendack's stuck with the Coetting family, so I'm I stay away completely from those people. Um, he seems like a great guy, but he decided to stick with a racist, so I'm not going there. Um, Kerry, I've been busy getting community shareholders on board for proponent testimony for the bill. I'll be carrying next legislative session. I got the American Psychiatric Association interested too. Good, excellent. That sounds great. I'm not really sure what any of that is, but it sounds good. So congrats. Good stuff. Alistair, sorry we're late. Alistair and Andrea, no problem. But Andrea was here like right at the beginning. Very, very early. So that's fine. Why is this not scrolling down? No, no. Okay, hold on. My bloody computer's frozen again. There we go. Ivan. Oh, well, I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me. As far as I know, last time I checked anyway, he is. Look, I mean, that's my personal opinion. It doesn't have to be everybody else's. But let's have a look. Forever Young. That's brilliant. I love that handle. That's great. I found Jesus and he loves you. Repent and thou shalt be saved. Thank you. Thank you. That's marvelous. I did actually find him, and then you guys lost him again. So you've got to stop doing this. Seriously. I mean, it's just painful now. Let's see. Oh, that's the forum. I don't want the forum. Oh, whole thing's the bloody forum now. I'm a living God. Yep, there it is. Just kidding, rock on. Cool. That was a good one. Thank you. All right, let's see. Books. That was great. Yeah, it's a fun time. Um, Trying to find the authors. Who is the authors? It used to have a whole page that showed the authors. Richard, why are so many authors falling into the Nazi trap these days? Because they make more money. To be honest with you, they're all it's the edgy stuff, and everybody loves it. So they go there for the money, and it's basically a sellout, if you ask me. But I don't know. Here we go. Bill Duvendack. I mean, the thing is, there are a lot of authors on Become a Living God that are still listed on there that actually aren't associated anymore. They removed themselves a long time ago, and one of them was Connolly. Um, so it's difficult to try and figure out who is still currently there. What was the book? Vocal Magic. Yeah, I'm not finding that on Becoming a Living God actually. Let's see. Is it? It's a just have a look at the book cover. It's usually got big Become a Living God sticker on it. Me being a Puerto Rican would probably not work out. Oh no, definitely. Well, I don't know. No, they'll probably take you because if you can make them money, they don't really give a shit about that. Vocal magic. I've lost the. Yeah, there it is with a K. All right. Well, There it is. Let's have a look. It might not be actually. No. It was published 2015, and the publisher. Oh no, okay, so it's not a bulk. Not published by Belg, so there we go. Forever Young, I don't know what a Nazi trap is, by the way. It's basically, I don't know if you're kidding again, but I'll answer it. It's basically a something that people don't recognize or realize is Nazi, inclined towards Nazism, or white supremacy or something like that within a group, within a magical system or a coven or an order or whatever it is, and they fall into the trap and get taken in by it. So, why do they call you Red Oak? I got the name a very, very long time ago, about 20 years ago. It was actually given to me by King Gob, which is the king, elemental king of Earth, um, gave me that name, and so it stuck. So I'd only used Red Oak for a long time, and then I started using my birth name. So I just put them together, and I still use it with my books. Thanks for answering. That's a pleasure. All right, so let's see. That book was not published on Bulg. Trying to check if he published after that. Kasim, hello. Why do all devotees of Hecate work with Clipoff? They definitely do not. I've seen no one work with her Queen of Heaven or lighter aspects. Oh, no, no, sorry. That's a very Hecate people, devotees of Hecate working with Clipoff is a extremely new thing. I mean, the Clipoff itself, especially the way it's practiced in Western magic, is extremely new. It's Hecate is a lot older. It's like a lot older. No, what you're probably finding is that the algorithm is feeding you the edgelord stuff. Um, so yeah. Oh, all South Africans, Richard, you might find this interesting. There is a review on Become a Living God, Coeting stuff. I'm going to read it and I'm going to tell you who it's from. The body of work known as Enochian has underpinned much of Western occult thinking and even pop culture, yet few sorcerers truly penetrate its mystery due to its deep-seated cloak of traditionalism and the surmounting fears of its misuse due to assumptions built upon doctrine and incomplete research. It's Bill Duvenduck because they are friends. Bill breaks these chains once and for all as he not only demystifies some of the most complicated parts of the system in such detail that even its most bastard and infernal children are given a chance to voice their true story at the table. That was from Adam Knox. Oh God, I'm actually sick and tired of these people, really. All right, we're shutting that all down because it's just become a bit of a smudge, a stain on society. All right, where was I? Yeah, no. Back to Kasim. Devotees of Hecate, clip off. No, a very new thing. And yeah, try and find something. What I would actually suggest is going down the avenue of an author called Sarita de Este. I'm actually going to put it in the chat because it's a bit of a difficult name. Um, okay, have a look for that author there. You'll find a ton of stuff. I mean, she's dedicated to Hecate, and she is a scholar, and her books are amazing, fantastic, brilliant. And then start from with that, and then venture a bit further into actual um, uh, Hecate devotion, because yeah, that's just a whole ball of shit. Okay, Richard. I don't know anyone working with Hecate, working with Clipboard. Oh, no, a lot of them do. Because Hecate has made it into the whole. I mean, I even spoke about Hecate being a daemon, and Hecate is a daemon, but it's gotten into the left-hand path edgelord. I can't even place Clipothic magic in the edgelord realm anymore because it's ventured out into the big wide world. It's become a huge thing, and it's just, I'm not, yeah, no, it's just illusion, complete illusion. Ivan, in my invocations, I'm beginning to use the cardinal demons. It's confusing because different sources have different names. I'm pretty sure King Paimon is from the west. Um, yeah, you're going to find, especially, I actually spoke about this in one of my a few of my videos. I actually did the four elemental kings that are mentioned in the Goetia, as far as I remember. Um, and if you compare that to the Grimorium Verum, there's differences, even mentions of the same spirit but in different positions on the compass. You know, it does get very, very difficult. Um, my favorite is the uh, I'm not sure where to actually place them. I mean, there was mostly spoken about in the Golden Dawn. The elemental kings being Peralda, Jin, Nixa, and Gob. Those are my favorite associations. You can associate the archangels to the four quarters traditionally, within Hermetic Kabbalah. So there's a lot of different associations you can do, but yeah, I don't actually work with those from the grimoires in that specific placement. A Maimon Go Up, I think, is in there somewhere. I think, or Go Up, sorry, Go Up. Yeah, all of those. I don't really work with them. Andrea, bestest of evenings to everyone. Hello, hello. Richard's laughing about the Adam Knox thing. Yeah. He probably actually commented on Bill Duvenduk stuff and it was stolen and put on the Bold website. That's what they do. So that's why I don't go anywhere near them at all. Forever young. What are your thoughts about most ancient pagan sites now being replaced with Islam or Christianity? Will Egyptian paganism rise again? They've been doing that for, well, the Christians anyway have been doing that for centuries. It's definitely nothing new. Um, and they did it because they were the old pagan sites were found on conjunctions of ley lines, ley lines, and they were power spots, places of power. So that's why the Christians built that. Built all their churches and stuff on those spots because they were power spots. But they've been doing that for centuries. Will Egyptian paganism rise again? I don't think Egyptian paganism has always been around. It's not something I follow myself, but it's definitely been a big, big, big thing since I've been practicing anyway. It's always been there. I mean, the Egyptians, when it comes to Egyptian paganism, Egyptian practice, Kemeticism, I mean, that has a big overlap with Greco-Roman practice as well. So you got a whole overlap in that whole area. But it formed, I mean, Egyptian magic, Hermeticism formed a huge, huge part of Hermeticism. And that's been going for centuries as well. So, yeah, I don't think it's ever went anywhere. and there's lots of people who still practice it. Um, Kerry and Andrea, bestest of evenings to you, love. Kasim, thanks for the information. Appreciate it. It's a pleasure, absolute pleasure. Richard, put it another way, I don't know anyone working with Hecate who is edgelord enough to work with a clip-off. Oh, okay. No, no, it's the clip-off has just spilled over into the broader framework of magic practitioners now, and it's getting stronger and stronger. The illusion is spreading. Forever Young, you're like a well of wisdom. Really enjoy it. Thank you very much. Uh, uh, all right. I actually can't believe we're in October already. Almost the end of the year again, for crying out loud. Kasim, what is your opinion of Hecate? You mentioned she is a daimon. Could you explain more, please? All right, so, hmm, wow, I mean, I don't know where to start or end with Hecate. So yeah, regarding the daemon or daimon aspect, this is an etymological thing. So we have the word demon, which is an English word which was taken by the Christians and formed into this thing which is anything which is evil. However, that's not the case if you look at the etymology of the word. You go back to the Latin, which is daemon, and then before that, you go back to the Greek, and which is daimon, which is the spelling that you put in there. And that, the Greek interpretation of that word extends back thousands and thousands of years. Um, it's I mean, the word daimon was actually around before the word theos. And therefore, when they brought the word theos into existence, that kind of took the word daimon and split it into these godlike versus tutelary spirit type aspects. But daimon originally kind of encompassed everything. It was the aspect, the force, the power, which is the no thing, the nil. It was the all existing nothingness, but it also referred to it actually referred to all living things. I mean, even humans were at one stage considered to be daimons. But then it started evolving, words changed, words shifted and everything else. And we got the theos came in, which was the aspect of God, the divine. And then through evolutions, and then we've got psychology, we've got Socrates, and we've got all of these people, the philosophers. And I mean, Socrates was a big one here because he used to actually listen to his eudaimon, which is the good demon, um, and it used to guide him through his life. So you know, it's not an evolution of the word itself. Now, if we go into modern demonology, the understanding of the word daemon, is actually divine intelligence. So if you consider, I mean, think about what a divine intelligence is. So it's not just your phonic spirits that you might work with within the Goetia. It's not just the Jinn, which are also considered to be the spirits of the Goetia, and the Grimoires, the Solomonic Grimoires. Um, but also a divine intelligence is also an angel. A divine intelligence is also a god and goddess. A divine intelligence is all of these things. So Hecate becomes, in that interpretation, is a daimon because Hecate is a divine intelligence. Now, my personal opinion of Hecate is that Hecate is everything. Hecate was the power that existed at the very, very beginning of all things. If you go into things like Aradia, Gospel of Witches by Charles God, Charles Godfrey Leland, written in the late 1800s, he actually speaks of Diana being this first aspect and was the no thing, the all nothing, which then gave birth to, brought into existence the aspect of Lucifer, which was the light, and then they coupled and had a child called Aradia. So that's the story in that book. I consider that aspect of the all-know thing to have been Hecate. I think Hecate extends way beyond the Greek, way beyond anything we possibly could know. Um, is that everything? Is all of the aspects, because Hecate goes throughout all these things. Hecate is the heavens, it is the hells, it is the in-betweens and everything you could possibly think of. And I mean the epithets were concerning Hecate just in the Greek is like extensive. So yeah, no, Hecate is incredibly, for me, a very incredibly powerful thing. Right, that was a good ramble. Forever Young said yes. Okay. Um, Richard, Clipoff, Edgelord, and all that just makes me think of the farmer leading the lambs to the slaughter. It kind of does feel like that sometimes. Forever Young, do you believe in reincarnation? Yeah, yeah. I believe that I'm not a firm believer in the idea that we have a pure soul that goes from life to life. So you die and your soul just stays as it is and then gets put into another body and passed on to the next life. So, um, in that one, in terms of that, not no, not the plot. Can't word today. Not the pure soul, but I do believe that we have cycles. We get to the end of one cycle, we go through a process, and we get mixed up with other souls and plunked into another body, whatever that body might look like. And I am an animist as well, so it could be a stone, it could be a tree, it could be an animal, fish, bird, or human again. I don't know. Depends what experience we need to have the next time around. So, yeah, I do believe that we continue on. There's no end. Jono, hello, Jono. How you doing? Having interesting discussions. Jono, how am I? I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm healthy again, I think. As healthy as I can be, let's put it that way. Oh, I did actually ask a question last week. I don't know who's here who remembers that question. So I'm not sure what feedback. I'll ask it again now anyway, because we've got a bit of a quiet moment. So my next big book project, I'm going to write about sex magic, and I find, well, sex magic and sacred sexuality. I'm gonna try and steer well away from tantra, because that gets so misinterpreted. I actually want to stick to just the westernized form of sex magic and sacred sexuality. But the books tend to just regurgitate the same things over and over again. And I'd like to know from everybody what aspects they would actually like to see in such a book. For instance, one of the things I want to add is the whole idea of well, not just maturity, but the the dangers that can be faced of grooming and things like that. So, if there's anything specific you can think of that you would think would go well into a book about sex, magic, and sacred sexuality, then let me know. I'd be interested to know, to find out what everybody's opinion is. All right, Kasim, what do you think about Kenneth Grant? I've been reading the Tiphonian Trilogy series, and it's difficult. It's a load of rubbish. It's an absolute load of rubbish. He made up so much crap. Part of the project, my project this year, was to actually read all 9 books of Kenneth Grant's Tiphonian trilogies, because it was actually 3 trilogies, and it's a load of absolute rubbish. He just fabricated a load of stuff. I mean, there's even I think it was Hecate's Fountain. He just made up a load of stories about his life. There was one. Wait, I actually made notes on the whole thing, so let me grab that, and we can go through some of the notes. But I mean, even his as a from a scholarly perspective, it's he just got so much wrong. It was unbelievable. And the other aspect to this is that Kenneth Grant is known to have lied after he created this whole idea that there was a secret society that came out of Central Africa. And this is what he based the whole Tiphonian thing on. It was like, well, it was just utter rubbish. Let me just have a look at these other comments. Trinity's here. Hello, Trinity. Andrea, sorry, I'm multitasking, listening from the gardening. That's okay, don't worry. Jono, sex magic is awesome. Let me find my book list and share. Great topic. Good stuff. Yeah, I've read a load of books. As I said, they seem to just regurgitate the same things over and over again. Andrea, yes, please. Subject that I know absolutely nothing about. Oh, okay. I'll pull up my list just now as well. So you're saying that Grant is a fiction writer? We could actually say that, yes. But he made it into non-fiction. I mean, according to him, he had a whole order that ran for 7 years. That was specifically Tiphonian OTO, and they did rituals and everything else. But it's just a load. It's absolute load of bullshit. Hang on, let's just see. But he was known for just making stuff up. I mean, I've got a note here. It wasn't mine. It was from an article somewhere. In his books, he portrayed the Tiphonian tradition as the world's oldest spiritual tradition, suggesting that it had ancient roots in Africa. In Central Africa during prehistory, he believed there had been a religion devoted to the worship of a goddess known as Ta'ut or Tifon, from which the Tiphonian tradition stems. This was an idea he had adopted from Gerald Massey's 1881 publication, A Book of Beginnings, a work promoting ideas which had never been accepted among scholars. So, I mean, actually, a lot of the stuff he based all of his premises on a load of the authors that he took, and he basically regurgitated things from other people's works. And Gerald Massey, for instance, has been debunked left, right, and center. Hang on, I actually want to get to that story that and I went and checked facts on this, and it was so funny. Sorry, I have to try and get to this. He's got a hell of a lot of um, Lovecraft in it as well. I mean, he honestly believes that Lovecraft stories were real, that Cthulhu mythology and mythos is absolutely real, and they did rituals to actually call the not just Cthulhu but the other gods, which were actually based on Simon's Necronomicon, which is That is pure fantasy. That is complete fiction, absolute fiction. He also, a lot of his stuff came from Berthieu. I mean, a lot of people kind of credit Grant as being the one who came up with the Temples of Set and Universe B and all that stuff, and it wasn't. It was Berthieu before him, and Berthieu has been known as a just outright freaking crazy. I mean, even Berthieu's work, it comes up with the stuff from these pieces of equipment from China and stuff that never existed, just made up, pulled them out of somebody's backside. But I want to get, no, sorry, I want to get to that. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hold on. Okay, so in Hecate's Fountain, one of the things he talks about, he just does all these stories in Hecate's Fountain. So one of them was time passed. I had long exchanged the rooms in Fetter Lane for others farther north, and then one day I found myself in Carey Street, almost in more senses than one. I turned into Chancery Lane, and memories began to stir. I approached the premises of August Bushk, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, and was reminded of my resolve to return the plaster cast. The memory shook me out of a despondent mood. As I strode up the lane, I rehearsed my approach to the old cashier. Now, this is a story. This is actually based on something that happened previously. What did he do? No, wasn't there. And this is years later. He wants to go and return something. Okay, there was a statue. Um, As I strode up the lane, I rehearsed my approach to the old cashier, but when I reached the place, it was to find an estate agent's board announcing to let. This little episode occurred, as I have mentioned, shortly before World War II. The sequel is to it happened in 1958. The image of Mephi, it was this he called it it was a Baphomet statue or painting, and he called it Mephi, which I had rewrapped 20 years earlier, had remained undelivered. It collected drifts of dust as it was moved throughout the years from attic to attic, basement to basement. It sank gradually into oblivion. Now, if Grant was born in 1924, which he was, and World War II started in 1939, how could he have done all of this purchasing of artworks and moved from rooms to room if he was 15 at the start of World War II? So the text earlier mentions that he rented a room on Fetter Lane, then went to Bush Emporium, where he found the artworks and purchased them. He then he then moved further north just before the war. So this could mean that these events happened between 1936 and 1939. He would have been 12 to 15 years old at that time, but he says that at the time he was an adult. He just fabricated a whole lot of garbage, and yeah, so you can't believe anything from his books. Um, there was also, I mean, something that I found very strange. Uh, he, in as far as gematria goes, and specifically for the word shaitan, he said that the gematria for shaitan is 359, but it can't be, because the shaitan in Hebrew is made of the letters shin, teth, nun. Um, It could be if none was calculated to 15, but it's non-final, which actually equates to the number 1000. So it's way beyond this. He did it with Eve as well. He got the complete Hebrew name wrong, and he just carries on writing for 9 books with all these mistakes in them. This was the mistake with Shaitan is in the first book, and he just carries on. So no, sorry. Yeah, I'm on my little um going off on a tangent today. So, my opinion of Grant is not very good, let's put it that way. All right, and to tell you the truth, Crowley used to speak of the Black Brothers who would try to pass through the abyss and would not make it across. Grant was one of them. He became one of the Black Brothers. He never made it through the abyss. which is why we have the temples of Set, which are just this quagmire of tunnels that journey through the abyss, because he couldn't get out of the abyss. That's really what it boils down to. All right, let's carry on then. Basim, so you're saying that Grant's fiction, right? Okay, did that one. Trinity. Right, there's no precedent for that in the occult. Crowley, Gardner, Cochrane, to name a few. Mysticism is a lot of personal gnosis. It is a lot of personal gnosis. It has to be. Especially in Reconstructionist aspects and revivalism. But, the problem is when I mean, he was a blatant liar. I mean, he even lied about Crowley passing on the mantle. He didn't pass it on to Grant. He passed it on to somebody else, but Grant just decided to bully his way in and say, I am the king of all. It was utter lies. Everything about Grant was just lies through his whole life. It really was. Bavi Mordka. Hello, Bavi Mordka. And Andrew's got #1 crown as well. Oh, very posh. Bavi Mordka, do you have an idea for a ritual to activate our hidden esoteric potentials? We have abilities, but they are hidden, blocked. How can we activate or awaken them without destroying ourselves? I would just do the work. That's what we do energy work for, and specifically energy work regarding the body. You get it moving properly, and it starts to help with these esoteric or psychic abilities, if you want to put it that way. And the more work you do on that, it's the same as a muscle and going to the gym. You go to the gym, you build your muscle. You stop going to the gym, you start getting weaker. Go back to the gym, you start getting stronger. So the muscles start building up again. And it's really the same thing. You just got to keep doing the work, the foundation work, the meditations, the energy work, and everything else, and work on the energy body and build it up, get it moving, get the energy moving. If the energy in your system is stagnant, if it's not moving, if it's blocked, then you're going to find blockages, and you're going to find things that you're just not going to have any psychic abilities, no intuition, nothing like that. As soon as you start working on it, you get the energy moving again. You might have moments where you've got a bit of a problem trying to get rid of a blockage, but keep moving, keep it moving, and keep doing the work itself. And that helps to get rid of the blockages. And do it slowly. Don't try and rush into all this stuff, because there are certain blockages, if you try and smash through those blockages, you can do some serious damage. So take it slowly. There's no rush. It's better than having spiritual psychosis and all that stuff. So take it slowly. My natal chart speaks of hidden enemies, which could even be my own subconscious self sabotaging me. It could be, yeah. I find that when I do a lot of divination and it kind of comes up with like the rivals and things like that, it's usually my own body, myself, that is the rival. I am the rival of myself. So yeah, it could absolutely. The hidden enemies could be yourself. This is why we do shadow work as well. To get to know who we are completely, get to know those aspects of ourselves that we kind of hide away from ourselves and from other people, but they're part of us. We need to get to know them. We need to become friends with them. Bring them into the light, and then they're not enemies anymore. They are friends. So there's that as well. Alexis, good evening, everyone. Happy soon to be full. Oh, yes, it is. It's this coming week, isn't it? Wednesday, I think. Yeah. And hello, Alexis. Thanks for joining. How can I discover the identity of hidden enemies and eliminate them? You might not, as I said just now, you might not want to eliminate them. You might want to make them become friends because they are you. You don't want to eliminate parts of yourself. You want to embrace them, get to know them. Why are they enemies? Why are they shadows of yourself? Why are there things that you don't want to admit to yourself or others? And this isn't just negative things. This is also positive things. This is also about your own ego and things like that, that can cause damage to yourself. So you might do the shadow work. It's probably where you're gonna end up needing to go is doing the shadow work. It's know thyself is really what this is about. Andrea sounds like Grant was full of BS. Absolutely. I'll find something just now. It was on Wikipedia, I think, that spoke about um, his ego really. I'll have a look for it just now. Bobby Mordka, hi Alexis. It's Alexis from Dynasty. Alexis, good one. Trinity, Deceiver and Black Magician. Yeah, yeah. I don't really like to use the term Black Magician. Maybe Black Brother, as Crowley did. That's what he used to define those people who just didn't make it. Um, Castle. Afternoon. Hello, Castle. Thanks for joining. Trinity. I've been doing daily meditation devotions every day, and it's improving my life and practice immensely. It would, it would. As I said, it's like building a muscle, and you keep doing it, you keep the energy flowing, and the more you keep the energy flowing, the more blockages you remove, the more powerful you become, because you're getting that energy moving. Bevan Walker, Astral Dynamics by Robert Bruce contains several exercises. Do you think it's worth? Robert Bruce's books are definitely worth going through for obes and astral travel and things like that. Robert Bruce um, authority on that topic. Alexis, I went today to a bookstore and I noticed a book of Celtic stories. And when I opened it, the first chapter said tricksters. Yeah, yeah, they're a vital aspect. I mean, Coyote is a trickster, is the trickster. I think when it comes to a lot of the stories about the gods, I mean, Loki's often considered to be a trickster, but a lot of people would not consider him to be a trickster. Others do, but I don't know. Depends on interpretation, I think. But the trickster is the one, um, specifically in terms of initiation, that you kind of like you have to go through. It becomes a very important aspect of the process, um, tricking you into going down a path that you need to go down, but you're just too afraid to go down yourself. That kind of trickster aspect. Nothing bad about it, negative about it. It's quite a positive thing. It's just difficult. Andrea, chia seeds are fantastic at moving blockages with plenty of fluids, though. Okay. Well, I'm assuming that would be physical blockages, not energetic blockages. Um, yeah, the two go hand in hand, though, I suppose. The physical and the energetic. If you've got physical blockages, you've probably got an energetic blockage. Alexis, Trinity Babylon, this is awesome. Happy for you. I wished more people would give these things a chance. Yeah, I agree. We've got to do the foundational stuff and we've got to keep doing it. There's no like point that you get to where you go, okay, now I've finished that. Now let's go on to the next thing. You have to keep doing it. Keep the muscles nice and worked. Barry Walker, am I supposed to sprinkle these chia seeds on myself? Yes, Andrea. How do you do it? Barry Walker. So if I bury myself in chia seeds in the bath in my by morning my chakras will be totally cleansed and unblocked. Okay. Hopefully, Andrea will let us know about this. Trinity, is there any value in Catholic initiation? I feel led to work with it. I don't find any reason, purpose for it myself. I actually need to put this into a nutshell, so every time I explain it, it goes quicker. So my own personal interpretation of the Klipothic. Klipa is a Hebrew term and it means shell or husk. Now, if you were to take an orange, you have the skin, the outside skin. Now, we don't want to eat that skin because it's very sour. So we take the skin off. That's the shell, the husk. So we take that skin off and we eat the fruit inside. When we're doing magical stuff and spiritual stuff, what we want to do is get past the shell, past the skin, into the stuff inside. So if you consider what is the underworld? The underworld is that which is beneath the skin. So if you take, okay, I'm going to give you an example. Right, this pen, this pen, the way you see it, right? It's a shell. This is klipa. This is the shell. This is the husk. This is the consensual reality that we've created. And in order to get to the underworld, you need to go beneath the skin, beneath the shell, and into the unknown, into the unseen. And this is the illusion. And that's my interpretation of the clipper, is that it is the shell, the illusion. And we need to get beneath that in order to get to the juicy bits, into the underworld. If we stay in the clipper, we're just staying here. And all we're doing is we're going on these journeys, these fantastical journeys, which are, and we have result. Yeah, we have things happen, we have spirits talk to us and everything else, but it's all illusion. Because this world, in terms of Buddhism, is the Maya, it is the illusion. And all you're doing is you're staying within the illusion. And that's what people are doing. And they think it's amazing spiritual stuff. And then they're doing things like, crossing the abyss in a month. And no, sorry. My Dark Night of the Soul lasted several years, not a month. Um, so it doesn't make any sense to me. Really doesn't. Right. I hope that answers that. Spinner, hello. I agree the trickster is usually the road opener in every pantheon. Yeah, can be, very much so. It's usually the very uncomfortable situation that you find yourself in that you need to go through and you don't really want to do it. Therefore, you get tricked into doing it because you have to. You need to in order to get to the other side and to better yourself. Yeah. Castle, I've been doing a lot of Negong and Qigong openings up my orbits, lesser and greater ones. I've been doing my martial arts and mixing my spiritual with it. Helping me clean myself. Good stuff. Yeah, I need to. I've laxed off on the qigong again. I need to actually choose a different time of day. I just don't know when that's going to be. Um, so you'll have to kick my butt just every week. Just ask me if I've done qigong this past week. Give me a good kick up the butt. I need it. Um, Alexis, I am surprised about Loki. I thought everyone considered him a trickster. No, it's I actually can't tell you what it is about Loki that certain people don't consider to be a trickster. It's a very complex thing, and I'm not a Norse pagan or Norse heathen, and definitely not. I've never actually worked with or followed Loki myself, so it's there is an explanation behind it. I just don't really know what it is. But yeah, they a lot of people don't really consider Loki to be a trickster. I can't really tell you why though. Sorry. Um, Andrea, really sorry for a sense of humor. It gets out unaccompanied sometimes. Don't be sorry. We love a sense of humor. Alexis at Castle, martial arts plus spirituality is a recipe for success. Oh, absolutely, I agree. Because it's part of that. it's the aspect of the foundational work which encompasses the energy work. You know, the energy body is moving the energy. So yeah, definitely, definitely goes hand in hand. Excuse me for anybody who's just joined. I cannot word today. I'm trying. Castle, he's my father's god, Loki. Alexis, I can't say he is to my family, but working with Pan and Tezcatlipoca, um, he can play tricks, but there to help you. Okay, I think I got that out of my mouth properly. Um, Andrea, I'll be right back. I'm supposed to be gardening. Go garden. Go on. Bevan Walker, Robert B. wrote about Obe and astral projection, but his book contains many exercises involving energy and the visualization of tactile sensations. That's why I asked in the context of blockages, does visualizing bodily sensations help dissolve energy blocks? I don't think visualization would do it. It's the actual, you need to actually move the energy. Um, Visualization is a part of that, but there's also breathing techniques. There is physical movement. I mean, qigong, neigong, tai chi, yoga, Falun Dafa, tensegrity. All of those movement meditations are good for getting the energy flowing properly. I mean, especially if you go into Castaneda's magical passes, also called tensegrity. There's very specific exercises in there that actually grab energy and smash it, especially at the beginning when you start doing it, because your energy is considered to be kind of like stagnant and stale, and your energy body's like it's got slumped and it's all like collected at the bottom when you're standing. So what you do is you actually stomp and you punch and you smack and you actually break up the stagnant energy. And once it's broken up, then it starts to get some life and it starts to move because it starts to vibrate again. And then you start moving it through the body. So I love tensegrity. Maybe I should actually try that again instead of qigong because it's fun to do. It's great. I love it. Um, yeah, I should look into that again. All right. But wait, getting back, Robert Bruce, that book you were mentioning is brilliant. As far as I remember, that book is the one where he actually wrote it from the perspective of somebody who battles to astral project. And I think he actually gave it to a friend who was battling, and he eventually succeeded in doing it. So yeah, it's a great book, it really is. But Bruce is a good was a good magician. So yeah, good stuff. Alexis, amazing. Thanks, Lee. This is a helpful interpretation of the Kleptotic. That's a pleasure. But as I said, I mean, don't take my word for it. I'm just one person who has an opinion. You've got to make up your own mind at the end of the day. Castle Awoli, oh, hello, Dragon. I find doing Neigong and Qigong about 5 my time in the evening and do meditation help a lot. Yeah, I'm trying to get back into doing a walk at 7 in the evening, but before that I'm busy doing stuff, wrapping up my day and all that stuff, so it's difficult. I need to try and find a spot midday, maybe before lunch or something like that. Mornings I've tried to fit in the practice, I just end up rushing so much that it doesn't feel right. So. But yeah, I need to just kick my butt. That's all I ask. Um, Alexa's at Castle True Loki does help people. It somehow feels he is good in helping with relationship matters. I have to take your guy's word for that. I don't really know. Kasim, I am stuck with my magic at the moment. I've been able to do a summoning before now, and do some small invocations, but I am unsure how to get to any of the bigger stuff. Any tips? what would you consider the bigger stuff to be? Um, you know, working with spirits and invocations is a big stuff. Um, but if you do find that you're in a bit of a slump, you're not sure what to do, what I tend to do in those periods is go back to basics, go right back to the beginning, and just sit for 15 minutes. Because I think we kind of like progress, and then we get to a point where we're trying to pursue and pursue and pursue and pursue and just get more and more and more and more, and it becomes chaotic, and we forget that that chaos brings turmoil in the head and chatter and noise, and we become noisier and noisier, and we just forget about all the basic stuff. And I think it's very important to go all the way back to basics and just start at the beginning and just sit for 15 minutes, sit still, don't move a muscle, um, and then start doing meditation, build up to 30 minutes again. If you're not doing that, obviously. I mean, if that's fallen away from your practice, build up a meditation until you're doing 30 minutes again. I am this month, the Toltec path episode is about stopping the world. And stopping the world is really about um, shutting out that noise and going into the silence. And that's something that's very, very important. But I think we're trying to talk to spirits, and we're trying to do invocations, and we're trying to do all this bigger, 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 bigger stuff. And we forget about the simple silence, just the silence. And if we can find the silence, once you find the silence, you can go into the nil state and you can do anything. And it's the simplest. It's not, you don't get bigger, you get simpler. And I think that's a very important aspect. Castle true that all gods and devils at Alexa's got to do the work and honor them. Alexa Zakasim, this sounds frustrating. Hang in there. Do you have a strong aim for specific result? This can help. Bobby Mordka, Salung. Also, good exercise, but without initiation, it is not enough effective. I've never heard of Salung before. This is why I love doing Covenstead, because you guys bring me all this new stuff. Traditional Tibetan yogic exercises that combine breath control, physical postures, and visualization to purify and harmonize the body's energy channels and winds. Ooh, that sounds cool. That's another one we can add to the list. Cool. More new stuff. Love it. Spinner. Spinner the Sinner. Hello, hello. Awesome energetic techniques. Kasim, thanks for your words of support. Actually, that is a good idea. Thanks for the suggestion. That's a pleasure. Pleasure, pleasure. Spinner, last time I was hexed, movement and exorcism, remove the virus from my electromagnetic force field. It would do. It would do. You gotta remember when we talk about the energy bodies, there's a lot of different energy bodies, not just a single. When we're talking about something like doing qigong, quite often we're talking about it almost looks like a nervous system through the body, but it's an energy system, and it connects with the physical organs and everything else, and keeps those going and all that stuff. So, we have that particular energy body, but we also talk about the mental body, the emotional body, the spiritual body, the astral body, the causal body, and one of those energy bodies is also the physical body. Um, in Kabbalah, it's called the guf. So the physical body forms part of the energy bodies. So when we're doing all of this various work, all this energy work itself, we are affecting all of these bodies in some way and form. And when we are moving the energy around the body, we're also affecting the physical body. we are strengthening it, we are healing it, we are curing it, we are removing blockages. So it all becomes essential. It's all, you know, I think we ignore the energy bodies too much. I mean, even just doing cleansing work. I mean, you brush your teeth every day, and you have a shower or a bath every day. You know, you clean yourself every day physically, and then we forget to do the energetic cleaning at the same time. The energy cleansing and the physical cleansing should be the same practice, really. I mean, if you're having a shower, physically clean with soap, and then brush off all of the negative energy. Um, it should just be, when you're cleaning your house, when you're washing your dishes, when you're sweeping the floor, don't just sweep the physical stuff away, sweep the negative energy away as well. Don't forget the energy stuff. Castle, Psychic Self-Defense by Robert Bruce has helped me a lot, and a good book. Quiet the Monkey Mind and Embrace the Horse of Intent will help with your meditations. Absolutely. I haven't read Robert Bruce's Psychic Self-Defense. I did read The Unfortunes. That was very good as well. But I've heard good things about Psychic Self-Defense by Robert Bruce. I must read that at some stage. There's so many books to read. Alexis Well said, Lee, working with spirits and already summoning spirits, it's not small things at all. We should give more credit to ourselves, absolutely. But we can work and strive for more too. Yes, yeah. But also, I've been coming back to the idea of going back to the beginning, going back to basics. What you find is when you work yourself through all of that stuff again that you did at the beginning, you've picked up new skills. You've picked up new understandings of again, coming back to the energy bodies, but also the trance work, meditation. You've picked up all this new stuff, and when you apply it to all of the basics again, you find all these new levels that you never knew were there before, and it opens up a whole load of new stuff. And then you can take that further into your more advanced practice, which then aids the bigger work. So it all has its place, and I just find it great to go back to basics. Belen, do you have any advice on pact makings with infernals? I want to try this. So I would actually advise you to go read the Grimorium Verum. I mean that grimoire is about pact making. That's what it is. Um, and Joseph Patterson does have a new edition of his book, Grimorium Verum, I think it's just called. And he's uncovered a lot of new translations, as far as I know. I haven't actually gotten hold of the second edition myself. But I've heard, I mean, it's Joseph Patterson. I mean, you can't go wrong with Joseph Patterson stuff. Let me just go into his books and we can see the actual title. No, Wild Women Remedies is not Joseph Patterson. Yeah, it's called Grimorium Verum, a Handbook of Black Magic. Second edition. I would actually suggest getting hold of that. And I say that because, as I said, the grimoire is about pact making. What you basically do, and I actually think everybody should read Grimorium Verum to work with spirits, because you first call Skirlin, who is the gatekeeper and opens the gate, and I think a lot of people actually miss that part. They just go straight to the spirit they want to talk to, but we should actually be opening the gate, and this is where one of the aspects of the working with the Holy Guardian Angel. The HGA is considered to be the the gatekeeper, so has the same aspect as Skirlin, which is why a lot of Crowley's rituals workings actually started off with the Bornless one, right? Because that was he designed that. Well, I mean, he took it from the PGM. It was the headless one, but he altered it so it became this basic call to the HGA to call down the Holy Guardian Angel, and then you continue with the rest of the work. So, um, but anyway, within the Grimorian Verum, you start by calling Skirlin, and then there's the three head spirits. You call the one that is assigned to the particular spirit you want to work with, and then you go and call the spirit. So if you follow that kind of um, path, I think it's very helpful. And the grimoire itself also helps you understand what pacts are. In turn, I mean, these are short-term pacts as well. These aren't long-term, lifetime after lifetime pacts that you have now tied yourself to the spirit. So it is an agreement. It's a contract. It's an oath. Remember that part. These aren't promises that you kind of go back on. You think, oh, it was just a promise. I don't really need to do anything. You have to follow through. If you don't follow through, you're stuck for the rest of your life until you actually finish the pact, until you finish the contract. Um, Now, where was I with that? Oh yes, in the Grimorian Verum it speaks of the physical pact and the non-physical pact, the verbal pact. And that's also very important. But I find it very much in line with just building a relationship with a particular spirit. You take the time to get to know the spirit, you build a relationship, you make the offerings. And if you're making the offerings, the spirit's, you're kind of creating, you're giving, you're removing and you're giving, so something needs to come back into that vacuum. So you're constantly, giving and receiving. But don't do it just to receive because that becomes a selfish act. That's our Western capitalist mind that's kind of going, well, I'm doing something because I want something. Don't do that. Just, you know, give because you want to give. And because you're giving, they want to give back. It's that kind of thing. But I mean, that's going beyond pact making, really. Um, but it's just my preferred approach is to actually build relationships. But yeah, I would suggest getting hold of Grimorian Verum, the actual Grimorian Verum, and then Joseph Peterson's book, because it will help a great deal in understanding pacts. Also, as along the same lines, the book called True Grimoire by Jake Stratton Kent, because that actually discusses a lot of the magic and also goes into pact making itself. But it kind of examines various different grimoires, Grimorian Verum, Ars Goetia, all of these different grimoires, and brings them together and forms. And there's actually, within that book, it actually talks about a format that you can actually take from Grimorian Verum, which is pact making style, and run from there. So three books. The original Grimorian Verum, just so you know where it came. The Mathers version is fine, just so you've got some context, and then go and read Grimorian Verum by Joseph Patterson, but also get True Grimoire by Jake Stratton Kent, and then you for away. All right, going to move on now. Lowton, hello Lowton. Leaning into the draconic side that seems to be present for me. I like to envision all the negative energy gathering in my chest when breathing it out like a dragon would fire. It's a good exercise, yeah. Because this is why I said the visualization aspect is very important, but you're also moving the energy. And you might be doing it with visualization, but don't you've got to actually feel it. I think that's what it boils down to is feeling it. If you're not feeling, if you're not, I mean, I'm not a very sensitive person when it comes to energy flow. I have to, if I want to actually feel energy, I need to build up a shite ton of energy in order to just feel it. So when I do energy work within my body, when I can feel it, I know it's working. So it's if you can feel it, then you know it's working. You know you're doing the right thing. Bobby Mordka, let's not forget about Franz Barden when it comes to energy exercise in his book Initiation into Somatics. Yeah. Good point. And I'm assuming Jono's not around anymore because his favorite person in the entire world is Franz Barden. He hasn't said anything yet. Ivan gatekeepers are important to honor. Absolutely, I agree with that. And it helps to have 2 or 3 levels to see your master, because the deeper you go, the harder it is for parasitic entities to follow you. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean by levels to see your master, though. Sounds very power hierarchical to me, but let me know. Be interested to find out your interpretation of that. Bobby Morka, regarding working with the mind, I recommend the book The Joy of Living, Unlocking the Secret and Science of Happiness. Yongey Mingyur Rinpoche. Is it Rinpoche or Rinpoche? I can't remember. Kasim, when you talk about pacts, would you say spiritual marriages are the same thing? I've heard of people marrying deities, God spousing, it's called. Um, hmm, I suppose you could consider it to be a similar thing, but I wouldn't say it's the same thing. Um, I think when it comes to God spousing as well, you've got those who are actually doing it and those who are just play acting. I mean, it becomes like this cosplay thing, actually. Especially when they're getting married to a different deity every week. I mean, it just gets insane. Um, but you could consider it to be pact making from the perspective of lifelong pacts. I mean, when you get married, when you God spouse, you are tied to that spirit for eternity. I mean, it's not something you get out of. I'm not sure. In some cultures, it might not be considered eternity, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. In some cultures, it might be considered just for that particular lifetime, and then you marry a different one in the next lifetime. I don't really know. It's never been part of my own personal culture or tradition, so I'm just going on what I've read and heard from other people. But I suppose you could consider it a pact because you're entering into an agreement, you're entering into a contract, and you are tying yourself to a spirit for a period of time. So, in a sense, yes, it could be a pact. Lowton, doing in tandem with physically drawing in a large breath, get all levels moving. Yeah. I actually used to do a thing years ago. I'm trying to remember. It was right hand on heart, left hand on, well, the heart or middle dandian, and then left hand on the lower dandian on the belly. What did I used to do? It was a breath technique, and I used to pull in the energy through my head. Oh, I can't remember now. I have to try and see if I can find it in my old journals, because it was a really good exercise as far as I remember. It was something similar, and I used to feel the energy movement. It used to get really, really hot. Yeah. Um, Baby Mordka, you just reminded me of my dream from last night. I dreamed that I became the father of a woman's child voluntarily. I did that. It was my child. Is my child. Um, Castle Taoist, do marriage with the dead to help the spirit pass easier. Isn't that also a part of Chinese tradition? Um, Marrying the dead. I can't remember. Yeah, all these cultures and traditions, fascinating stuff. It is really. Baby Monaco, I don't know this woman. Okay, that's different. I don't know who she is. Maybe some kind of spiritual being. Maybe I'll become the stepfather of familiar warfare. Possibly, possibly. I mean, if it was a dream, um, it could be just an indication that you are coming into a period of fertility. And by that, I don't mean, physical fertility. It could be that you coming into a period of abundance, or the beginning of a new stage in your life. And you need fertility in order to start a new stage, because you need that injection of energy into a new project, for instance. So, yeah, I mean, it could be a lot of things. You're going to have to interpret that one. Um, Castle, 8 pieces of silk is a good workout for energy working. 8 pieces of silk. I know the 8 brocades. Is that the same thing? I'm assuming it is. Yeah, 8 pieces of silk brocade. There we go. Yeah, the 8 brocades. I do like doing the 8 brocades. It's one of my favorite qigong exercises. Is it called an exercise or a set or a movement? Because it's a series of exercises or movements that you go through. What are they called? You know, like the 8 brocades or the 5 elements. What are they called? Anyway, Baby Walker, I will call her Lucy. Lucy Ferris. Okay, there we go. Good name that. Yeah, I like that name. Castle, yes. Lowton could also be a connection to other side of yourself that is resulting in growth, symbolized by the child to another side. Absolutely, yeah, yeah, totally. And bringing the inner smile out, it's called forms. Ah, there we go. There we go. Forms. That makes sense. Yes. Thank you. Yeah, what Lowton said about the dream connection to other side of yourself, resulting in the growth, symbolized by the child. It could also be working with your, what do people call it? The your child self, your inner child. There we go. Could be that. Could be many things. Is she wanted a list of books on sex magic. And stuff. Because there's Charles Mage, Sex Magic for the Solitary Practitioner, which actually wasn't very good. Andrea, yes, you're back. Too dark to garden without accidentally chopping a finger or foot off. Yeah, it would be this time. All right, good book. Sex Magic books. Michael Craig did Modern Sex Magic. Donald Tyson did, just make sure this is the right title, Sexual Alchemy. Who else do we have? You're not going to find this one, Gold Trend. Gold Trend was a magical practitioner that used to do. It's a very interesting guy. He was on the Yahoo groups years and years and years back, and he used to do goetic work with goetic spirits, but incorporating sex magic. Yeah, it was very interesting stuff. Let's see what else we got. Frater UD, who has written some. I like Frater UD. I think his work's really good. Secrets of Western Sex Magic. Jason Augustus Newcomb wrote Sexual Sorcery. A Complete Guide to Sex Magic. What was this one? This was an older book. Yeah, I'm just trying to single out the modern Western sex magic stuff. What's this one? Jason Miller also did one. I don't think I've got it here. I'm going to have a look for it just now. Yeah, that's it from that. Let me just check Jason Miller's book. Yeah, he did Sex, Sorcery, and Spirit. Yeah. I just find them all just kind of all regurgitate the same things. I mean, there isn't really a lot you can say about sex magic. I mean, you build up the energy, you focus on your intention, and you release. But there's a lot of different ways you can go about it. And I think it was actually Jason Miller's book, Sex, Sorcery, and Spirit, that goes into BDSM and stuff. So that was actually a bit of a change. That was quite good. So, yeah. Right. Oh, sliding down in my chair. Wait. Andrea, good news. Two of my sacred cacti have sprouted. Yay! 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 That's me going yay as well. That's good. I'm happy for you. It's a bit of a rough time of the year for you to be sprouting cacti though, because they're going to have to go through the winter now. I have to bring them inside. Right, and I need to get some more cacti. Yeah. Got a lot of aloes growing. Aloes are cool. Thank you for the yay. It's a pleasure. All right, what else can we talk about today then? See what this is about. Andrea, I started them indoors, so I'm very chuffed about 2 out of 10 seed sprouting. That's pretty good, yeah. You have to keep them indoor until spring. Later, there was something I was thinking of, but my mind has gone blank. That happens all the time. Here's to hoping the other 8 sprout as well. 2 out of 10's pretty damn good, yeah. Especially with cacti. Kasim, have you ever worked with Hecate before? Oh yes, no, she's a permanent fixture in my life. Hecate and Pan. I Hecate was the one who kept knocking at my door for years and years and years, and I kept saying no, no, no. Eventually, I gave in. Glad I did. But yeah, they are the guiding forces. Dyson, I had a cactus for about 7 years, and it flowered a beautiful red flower. Then my mother left it out in winter, and oh, that's a pity. Um, Dyson, I have never trusted anyone with my plants, so I don't blame you. I'm bad with plants. I'm actually getting pretty good. I've got a rosemary and a mint on my balcony in pots at the moment, and they've survived a whole year. So I'm pretty chuffed about that. Uh, Um, Furthermore, is there any kind of magical practice where the energy of depression and self-aggression is used to transform it into positive energy, turning poison into medicine? I wouldn't say depression, um, but in terms of self-aggression, see, these are all things that are pointing inward, and those are things that you need to work on to transform. Uh, okay, let's start at the beginning here. Firstly, find a therapist. Make sure that you are, if you need to take meds, you're taking the meds. If you need to just talk to somebody, talk to somebody. Because these are all internal things that can affect your magic. They're not things that you should be transmuting into different energies. That kind of thing would be, you can say anger, pain, all of those things, but they're not things which are turned inward. Those are things which are turning outward. And you can take anger and pain and all of that stuff, and you can transmute those into something else. Um, but if you try and transmute something, depression, anxiety, self-aggression, those are all attacks of the self. Those are things you need to work on. Oh, sorry, you did say I don't mean psychological shadow work, but magical work, witchcraft. You see, but this is the thing. I mean, depression and stuff is something that you need to get a handle on before you do the magic work. Because if you try doing the magic work while you go through bouts of depression or anxiety, etc., you're going to end up with psychosis. So these are things you've got to get a handle on first. And if you need to go and see a therapist, go see a therapist. You can't go wrong there. But yeah, it's difficult because firstly, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a doctor, so I can't really tell you what to do. Um, and I can't give medical advice, obviously, and this becomes an aspect of where somebody needs to give you medical advice, instead of magical advice. So all I can say is start with a therapist, if you haven't already. Get it under control to the degree where you can then do the magical work. And the shadow work helps with that. And it is psychological. You're not, to say that it's not psychological or it's not shadow work is you're just shooting yourself in the foot. Bone work, extracting and transmuting these energies. You can't, it's part of who you are. You can't extract it. Um, you've got to work through it. It's part of your makeup, you know. Um, Lotus succulents are great starting plants. Honestly, they're more independent and don't need as much attention. Yeah, they got lots of water in as well, so you don't have to really attend to them very much. Um, Lotus and Andrea, I'll just have to get more in future. There you go. Country 11. Castle Can. be used to control you if a person knows they can anger you and use your depression and everything else against you, only balance. I'm assuming you're saying that if somebody angers you, they can take control of you. In that, in a sense, yes, I would say, because you react to how somebody, if somebody pushes your buttons, you react a certain way. You choose how you want to react. And if you don't give them a reaction, then they don't feed on the energy. So it's that kind of thing. Yeah. Like an emotional alchemy in tandem with cognitive behavioral therapy. Yeah, that is actually really, really good suggestion. I like that suggestion. Light in the UK. So all succulents have to come indoors in winter. Yeah. Kasim, in your opinion, do the spiritual forces work together or is there a rivalry? I mean, is the Christian God really opposed to pagans or is it just man's interpretation? This is a bit of a difficult one because it could purely be man's interpretation. Um, you know, how we ended up with white Jesus. Um, so are all the stories in the Bible actually what God did and said, or is it just the interpretation that somebody decided this is what God said to them? It is a difficult one, but if we are to understand the myths about the Christian God, then the Christian God is a very jealous God. That's what he said, according to the people who wrote it down. Um, so therefore, yes, he is opposed to the pagan gods because he wants to be the one and only true God. You can then revert this back to the Gnostics and the Demiurge, where the Demiurge thinks that he is the most powerful thing in the cosmos and he made everything, but meanwhile he didn't. There is something beyond and above him who made him. It's just that this Demiurge has an ego so big that he just doesn't know what the hell he's doing. Kind of reminds me of Trump. Um, and yeah, so that the Gnostics believe that Demiurge, that the Christian God is the Demiurge. So no, there are going to be rivalries as well, even in if we go beyond past the Christian God thing. I mean, there's rivalries within pantheons, which is why if you go into the Nordic pantheon, you have Ragnarok. Um, so it's all there. It's just cycles and energies that need to move again. Castle, yes, very easy. Okay, I think that was about the anger and depression and energy balancing thing. All right. Lotan, cognitive behavioral therapy is definitely a must have to maintaining emotional balance. Yeah, I agree. Um, I mean, it's all about finding a therapist, and you have to find one that suits you. And that might not necessarily be CBT. It might be something slightly different, but as long as it's helping, that's the main thing. If it just needs to help. It needs to get you in that right place. Andrea alerted me too. That's why I started mine indoors. I've got some seeds left, but how to get them to you? Discord. I don't think you can pass it through Discord. Everyone Christian equals pagans after rebranding. In a sense, yes. But again, that's evolved so bloody much. Spinner. Yes, my ex-girlfriend is a vampire. I don't know if you're joking, because it's quite possible. Andrea Lee, Buddy Christ from Dogma. Oh, I haven't watched Dogma. I must actually watch Dogma again. Just put that over here so I remember. God, 1999. Bloody hell. Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch that one again. Lieutenant Andrea, you could do, but unfortunately, I don't have the space for them at the moment. My alloys are taking up all of it at the moment, but I'm gonna some of them away in future. There we go. Might be able to take them then. Rotunia. Do not interact with Mexica gods more than one at a time unless you know you're on good terms. Yeah. Swap. Okay, you guys can discuss your cacti. Richard, you haven't watched Dogma yet. I watched it years ago. It's been so long that I think I need to watch it again. I remember it being really, really funny. Um, and yeah, there we go. Okay. Bobby Mordecai asked Lawson why. Is that about the working with more Mexican god at one time? Richard, it's great. I want to watch it again myself. Yeah. Kasim, interesting thoughts about Christianity. You mentioned Gnosticism. Do you think there is any truth to it? I'm not a follower of it myself. I find it very interesting. It's not doesn't form part of my own worldview. So would I consider it to be or to have any value to some people, but not to me? To truth, yeah, there's truth in it to people who follow Gnosticism, but a lot of it is not for me. Um, because, as I said, it doesn't form my own personal worldview. Um, this is the thing, you've got to remember that there's many, many different truths. There's no absolute one truth. It depends on your own perspective, your own experiences, your own worldview, all that stuffs. Turner, hello. What's your favourite Halloween season practices, rituals? Um, Going to visit the ancestors. That's mine. I like to go to the graveyard during Samhain. And Beltane. Beltane's a good time to do it as well because it's the axis. But yeah, no, I find it all about the dead. I mean, well, it might actually be different this coming year because I've got other people to celebrate stuff with now. So we'll be doing some additional stuff. But previously it was just me, so I just used to go to the underworld and visit the ancestors, which I do throughout the year, so it's not really much different. But it's just easier when the gate or the axis of the year has come around. Um, that's more about thingies. Castor Lawton, I'm a devotee of Santa Muerte and Tezcatlipoca. That one. But here, my god and goddess, I follow. Lawton, Bavimodka, at Bavimodka. Some of them do not get along with each other. Tezcatlipoca and Quetzalcoatl are bitter rivals, for example. You'd only piss both of them off by trying to bring them into the same session. This is actually why it's often funny to see eclectic witches talking about all the stuff that they do, because they don't really, I don't think they actually work with the energies themselves. They just like bring all this stuff in, like, bringing particular gods in that are actually rivals into the same space, and then pulling in a dragon here and you know pulling a fae from over there. It's like, put them all together and everybody's going to get along because this is spiritual stuffs. No, not always. Uh, Bobby Mordkirk, Sim Vedanta, Gnosticism, Kabbalah. Yeah, can see that progression slightly. Don't know about Vedanta. I mean, don't know. No, I mean, Gnosticism really was a branch of early Catholicism, Christianity. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, yep. Castle, they work well together. At Lowton, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, you guys can pick bones over that one. Lowton at Castle the Madge. I'm only going off what people who worship and work with them have said, and they do not appear to be friendly even in mythology. Castle, you got brothers. One in the sun and the other is moon. Autumn, that's about seeds. Brigham, hello Brigham. Is Joseph Peterson's book not the actual Grimorium Verum? It is. He got the original, or got hold of the original manuscript and did a better translation. Um, and then I believe with the second edition, he got hold of other material which was connected to it, so he could actually add more to it. I haven't read it, so I still need to get hold of it. I think I've got the first edition around here somewhere. But he discusses, it's a whole narrative about the Grimorium Verum as well. So it's not just the grimoire itself. It's a whole discussion. Brigham, what other books should we get? As I was saying earlier, this was in reference to pact making. I mentioned the Grimorium Verum because that is a grimoire which is all the rituals are about pact making. It's very different to the other stuff where you're casting a circle and you're summoning a spirit in and you do using the dark mirror and all of that stuff. This is a very different approach. So Grimorium Verum is very different to all the others, and it's specifically about pact making. So there's that one, and then I also suggested the True Grimoire by Jake Stratton Kent because that discusses it as well, and also goes very specifically into the pacts and how the Grimorium Verum actually does it, and all that stuff. Bovin Vodka, how about Dual Faith? No one becomes angry. Witches were and today also are dual. What do you mean by dual faith, though? I mean, yeah, no. You're gonna have to just give a short description of dual faith, just so I know what you're talking about in regards to that. Andrew at Lowton, yes, indeedy. Oh, that's still that. Perhaps why I leave. Yeah, if you guys want to email me, and I can pass on contact details. Lowton at Belém. For what I've read, been told, it's not that you can't worship or work with both, it's trying to mix them. That's the issue if they don't get along. I guess it depends on what work you're doing as well. I mean, if you are pulling them into a circle, for instance, you could always pull the one into the east and the other one into the west. If, as Castor said, the one is the sun and the other one's the moon. So the rising sun and the evening sky becomes the moon, something like that. Or north and the south, midday and midnight aspects. But yeah, it depends how you're working with them. Can do. It'll probably take me a bit to get me ready to send. So, okay. Blah blah. Dom. There we go. Okay. Baby Mordecai, dual effects during the day to church and at night to the meadow and witchcraft. Oh no, there's nothing wrong with that. You have to remember that I mean, for your instance, your great grandmother would have probably been practicing folk magic, and there was a when Christianity came along in Europe and stuff. Um, we always talk about an invasion and that, like, came through and just wiped us all out and all that stuff. There was it was an integration. It was a combining of forces almost. I mean, they didn't come in and just, well, in some cases they did come in and throw their arms around and say, "You will do what we say," but mostly to get the folk, the the farmers, the meadow people, the folk people, the pagani, um, to kind of follow this new faith. They had to integrate with what they were doing. So it was very much just kind of like they have their gods and their goddesses and their practice and their folk magic, and then all of a sudden these new people came in with their gods and goddesses and practices and folk magic. And so, let's see if we can integrate them and see if their gods are just as good as our gods. Um, because the mindset would have been one of polytheism, and they had no idea what monotheism would have even been. And in the early days, it would have been Catholicism. So, you've got your saints and your angels and all of these other spirits. So these would become various different gods and goddesses and all that stuff. So it would look very similar to a polytheistic faith. And then the integration came along, and therefore it became witchcraft and Christianity were practiced at the same time. You know, in a charm, you may have the person may be calling a local god and Jesus at the same time, sort of thing. Um, and then it just became more and more and more and more Christian, kind of pushed out the other stuff, became more monotheistic. And then Protestants came along and made it even more monotheistic, um, in a sense. So yeah, I mean, you can do that. It's folk magic. It's just simple folk magic at the end of the day. Lowton, they're light and night, more specifically. Quetzalcoatl being the former, Tezcatlipoca being the latter. So then it would be Lucifer and Noctifer, or Lucifer and Lucifuge. It's the day and the night, the morning star and the evening star. I guess could be. I'm not sure if that's the same thing. The morning star and the evening star. Lowton both were the sun at one point in the Mexico creation story. Castle, yeah, there were at Lowton, but how I work with them and find balance with them. Yeah, Lowton at Castle. Have you been working with them for a while? Castle, since I was a kid, and Santa Muerte too, 35 years. That might be why. How I cleanse houses and bring balance. Loads of Mexico gods, you can't just pick up working with them. From what I've been told, you have to build a relationship with them and show that you respect. I think that goes with any gods. Andrea, a bit like Burr, it's getting a bit chilly. Chuck another witch on the fire. What are you talking about now? Okay, that was totally off track. Castle, Grandfather Coyote is a bit different, but I love the old Coyote. Lowton, Coyote is more laid back. Castle, Lowton, I have altars for the both of them. Is that my headphones beeping? Yeah, yes. Just turn them off. Oops. Yeah, I think we're going to bring today to an end in the next 5 minutes. It's been on for 2 hours. Right, so that castle, to be clear, not saying this about you specifically, just talking about working with them in general. Turner, newbie here. What have you got against coriander? You like my cup, do you? Yes. Yeah. It tastes disgusting. But more specifically, because you might be in America, um, it's the fresh coriander, which I think you guys call cilantro. Um, Dry coriander, coriander seeds, they taste different, but the fresh coriander just tastes disgusting. Tastes like soap. Um, I am one of those people who didn't evolve, apparently. Um, Andrea Lee, sorry, just the integration of the church. Oh, yeah. Bimorka, Grandfather Coyote, who is he? Castor, that's true. Most people don't respect the spirit, they use them and throw them away. Sim, thanks for answering my questions. It has been a great chat. It's a pleasure. Thanks for asking the questions. It's what makes the chat more interesting. I'm gonna have to go. Good. Cheers. Have a good one. Yeah, I'm gonna go in a minute or two. Zanka, it's a pleasure. Thanks for joining. Andrew, some people have a genetic thingy. What's it that makes coriander taste like soap? Yeah, apparently it's an old genetic thing that hasn't evolved. Or something like that. I don't know. Lowton, Preta used to do a really nice bean wrap, but then they'd put coriander in it, and it clashed so horribly with the rest of the ingredients. Yeah, it's gross. Turner, do you do this every week? Yes, I do. Same day, same time, every single Sunday. I did forget to schedule this month's lives, so that's why it only went in later. But I will schedule the rest of the month tomorrow, so you can go and check and press the little notify me button that YouTube often doesn't notify you for. But anyway, but yeah, no, just put it in your diary at this time. Leighton at Castle Witch with the Teotl? Not a good idea. Okay. Um, I want to know who is Grandfather Coyote from Bavy Mordka. He is the trickster. He is the initiator. He is the one that eats you and spits you out, and you become a new person. That's my That's my understanding, anyway. Um, Andrea, Ivan, have a great week. Yeah, right, and I've always considered myself rather primitive, so check this out. Andrea, me too. Divs, great stream. That's good night. Have a good one. Castle was a good conversation at Lowton. There you go. All right. Um, if anybody's got an answer for Babby Mordka about Grandfather Coyote, you can still put it in the chat. Takes a while for it to stop, so go for it. Cheers, Richard. Babby Mordka. I thought we were talking about some man. It's a spirit. No, it's a spirit. Light. I'm not gonna even try and say that one. Um, relative of Tezcatlipoca. No. Uh, Hugh Coyotl was. See, I'm probably saying all these names wrong now. You guys aren't correcting me. All right. Hugh Coyote was. Oh, okay. All right. Hugh Coyote was a relative of Tezcatlipoca. There we go. Alright, wait. Castle blessed. May all the gods watch over you. Abundant Walker. Great grandfather is a good spirit. He will trick you, but help you find your way. There you go. Okay, I'm going to say goodnight and all that stuff. Bavin Walker is a Native American named Grandfather Coyote. Okay, I'm assuming you're now talking about an actual person. Alright, I'm going to go. Have a good one. I'll see you all next week.